and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome from Frankfurt. Today it's all about the new Canon RF 50mm f1.2L. I was one of the lucky owners of the predecessor as well, which was the EF 50mm f1.2L. The predecessor had chromatic aberrations as hell. It was not sharp, while the new one has been through a change of 180 degrees. So let's have a look at the new version, and I'll give you slightly hints when it comes to the old version and also to the Canon EF 1.8 STM. Enjoy! By the way, I look so tired since I was on the World Club Dome in Frankfurt. Holy... I waited a long time for the lens and here it is. 950 grams or 33.5 ounces is its weight. The lens hood is included but not shown in this review. I really like the surface feeling. Despite its size, it fits well in the hand and anyone who needs protection should look for a 77mm filter. On the side you will find two switches. One for the autofocus and manual focus and one for the distances. The front element is huge and lets a lot of light passing through it. Unfortunately, there is no distance display on top anymore, but the whole thing is realized digitally through the viewfinder. The inner ring is for focusing and you can use the outer ring to change the ISO, aperture or shutter speed. The focus ring has a perfect run, ideal for manual focusing while filming. I mean, it's huge, but twice as large as its predecessor, which I don't understand. But there are significantly better results. If you're on the way for a long time, you should get at least a hand strap. The lens is perfect for detail shots. Sure, you do not have a macro lens, but with the open aperture of f1.2, you can completely separate the fore from the background. Ideal for product photography, flowers and other beautiful things. You can approach all your subjects to a distance of 30 cm or 35 cm using the EF 1.8 STM version. The focus is much better than with the EF version and the sharpness is also outstanding even at f1.2. Of course, you will see some vignetting shooting wide open as well. As soon as you stop down to f2.8, you won't see many dark edges anymore, or you make use of Adobe Lightroom. The EF 1.2 version was full of magenta and green looking stitches and not sharp at all. Using the new RF version, you rarely see any magenta or green stitches. And God, this lens is so damn sharp at f1.2. There are tons of photos in the description below to check the performance at home. Despite its size, the autofocus is damn fast. With a tap on the screen of your camera, the focus sits without delay. With the latest firmware of the EOS R, the eyes were perfectly tracked and even in the dark, using an aperture of f1.2, you will focus much faster than with any other lens. And for what purpose is this lens most suitable? Right, for portraits. If you make use of the live view having the latest firmware, then definitely turn on the eye autofocus, the focal length for portraits. Incidentally, in clubs and on events, I advise to get the 35mm version because it can get tight with the available space you have. If space does not matter, you have the perfect lens for portraits here. Remember, with an aperture of f1.2, even the eyes are not quite sharp when you focus on the nose. Let's get to the best part of this review, the bokeh. I mean, open the aperture, take some shots and you will be happy throughout the day. The lens is so damn sharp on the spot compared to the EF version. I could have just taken bokeh shots throughout the day. You may need an ND filter during the day because an 8,000th of a second shutter speed may not be sufficient using its widest aperture. No matter which 50mm version you had before from Canon, forget about it. For 2,500 bucks you can get the sharpest 50mm ever. From corner to corner, it does not matter if you're shooting wide open or at f4, they are definitely sharp photos, I promise. The direct comparison can be found in the video description as a download, also in RAW for private purposes. Let's speak about lens flare. So in the corners there are definitely a lot of flaring, especially if you hold the lens directly into the light source. It's best to have the lens hood with you to keep flares at a minimum level. Finally, we will look at the 50mm 1.8 STM, which cost $100, and we will compare it with the $2,500 lens. So 160 grams versus 950 grams and plastic versus magnesium. In terms of sharpness, the 1.8 version cannot keep up, which does not mean that it's not sharp, but especially shooting wide open, the RF version is much sharper. In terms of bokeh, of course, there's more blur background using the 1.2 version, but at the end the final image matters more than f-stops. You can count on both lenses when it comes to focusing. The 1.8 STM was perhaps a millisecond slower, but we could not tell a real difference using the live view. By the way, the face tracking worked great using both 50mm. Time to summarize. The most important aspects of this lens are its sharpness, not annoying chromatic aberrations anymore, and a fast and precise autofocus system. Of course, with $2,500, not the most affordable portrait lens by Canon, but one of the best ones. Remember that you can't use it on a DSLR. I wish it would be as small and compact as the EF 1.2L version, which makes it much easier to carry it around all day long. All the gear I used for this review is listed in the description below. Make sure to stop at Frankfurt's best camera store if you are in Frankfurt, GM-Foto, and all the best from Germany.